What up, friends? I am back here with you, Geoff Fienberg, breaking down another week of PGA Tour action for oddschecker.com/US. WGC Matchplay, the March Madness doesn't just end on the hardwood. I absolutely love this event. It's a change of pace. It's one of my absolute favorites of the year. Create some fun betting opportunities, and just I'm down for the different format. I wish they could do it more often. I totally get why they don't. I've loved all the courses, going back all the way to my, place that's close to my heart in La Costa and down in San Diego, Aviera. But we've moved through Arizona into Dove Mountain. Great memories of guys playing for a championship in snow early in the morning there. Yeah, that happened. And the move to Austin. I think the course is absolutely fantastic. It's an incredibly exciting match play course. We've seen the Bombers win here, your Bubbas and your Dustin Johnsons, but we have seen the tactical Pete Dye sharpshooters win here as well, like a Kevin Kisner. So super exciting week. I have got 4 outright picks and a bonus. I've picked one guy from each quadrant. In a perfect world, we'll have everyone in the final 4. That is certainly not the case. And, the reality is I'd like guys to just win their brackets and kick this thing down the road so we can have some more fun. I won't be doing a Tuesday video for you guys, I won't be doing a second video in the week before the tournament, but my plan is to reset with you guys once we have a Sweet 16 and a Final 4. Give you some matchups, have some fun along the way. All you got to do, always like these videos, it's a big favor for me. Hit that sub button so my videos will drop right into your odds checker for your feeds each week. And leave a comment. Tell me who you think is going to win the WGC match play. Start off by quadrant or by odds. You know what? Let's go with quadrant. Boop. So I'm going to go like up here. If how I'm looking at it, they used to give these quadrants names like Player and Nicholas and Nelson. They stopped doing that. So let's just say the top quadrant, the quadrant with the best player in the world, Dustin Johnson. Out of that 2 pods, yeah, I'm going to pick Tyrrell Hatton. I couldn't have picked a less confusing way to deliver this news. Holy jeez, Fienberg. It's easier if you're staring at a bracket. It could be confusing. Maybe you just trust me and you don't even care. But Ty Hatton, plus 3,500. That is the bet that I am going to make. I've seen it as low as 28-1. Using that odds checker grid, I see it at Bet365. Hatton was a pre-pod selection that I made. A pre-pod. I didn't need to see the bracket. I'm not necessarily in love with his road. I wish it was a little easier, but at 35-1, I was willing to bet and back Hatton blind, essentially, without even knowing his road. He's an A player. He's the best player in this pod. If a future match with Dustin Johnson presents itself, we'll simply worry about that for the time being. And we'll go to bed Friday with Tyrrell Hatton still alive. And we'll worry about that on Saturday. Pivot in this range that I was thinking about in this quadrant would have been Paul Casey. Paul is playing absolutely beautiful. Again, the books know that he is so freaking live because Paul Casey in a WGC 25-1. It's like we picked him at the Players. He was 55-1. We didn't even like that number, but we could see that there's great form. So no one is sleeping on Paul Casey. Apparently, the bookmakers feel that he could be live. But for me, it's Ty Hatton. He is the longest price top 10 player in the field, like world ranking. I didn't understand that one bit. He's got that tenacity that I would totally love for this format. I bet it, as I said, before the bracket came out. On that note, I was ready. I was ready to make bets as the bracket was coming out. Like, oh, someone got a pod that I loved, and I already had an inkling. I was ready to fire. Well, guess what? None of that happened. Whew! This bracket is tough. That's just my opinion. I didn't really see any easy answers anywhere. There is one, and we're going to pay a price for it, and that's where I am later. But this is tough. The road here, quite difficult. So Tyrrell Hatton is my pick from that top left quadrant when staring down at the bracket. Who am I hoping Tyrrell Hatton is matched up with in a Final Four match? Well, hopefully we can get there. Hopefully we can win our pod. But for me, that would be Abraham Answer, guys. Answer is my pick. I was able to get in quick at 66-1. There are still 55-1s available. That is a number that I would condone. He is in a pod with Hovland, Wiesberger, and Streelman. Obviously, we worry about Vic. Kid's a stripe show. He's a stripe show. But as we said recently, that auto Pete Dye course money we used to present to Kevin Kisner, we were happy to just blindly back him at Pete Dye tracks. That money is now being allocated to Abe Answer, and I like his spot. I like his ability to go on a run through this quadrant. And if he wins, win your pod, and let's have some fun through the weekend. That's really the plan here. His road, if you're looking at top seeds, he'd have to dethrone Bryson DeChambeau. Here's a point I do want to make. Since we've gone to this pod system, 37% of the number 1 seeds advance. 17% of the number 4 seeds have advanced on. So there's not much way. I mean, these things are pretty wide open, Upsets are bound to happen. And as for Hatton, I meant to say, I'm scared about Sergio and his little nugget there. You just make Sergio putt out, and hopefully everything will be fine. So I got high hopes for Answer this week. He's a Pete Dye specialist. It would be a big ask considering he's never won in North America, but I believe this layout sets up perfectly for him. And if this tournament happened last year, Answer would have been a total darling. Right off that really snazzy President's Cup performance, people would have been looking at him. I hope they still are. I certainly am. Moving up, yeah. And as you know, if I had to make a pivot in this area, I mean, you guys know me, it'd be Finau. I mean, maybe a different format could work for him because stroke play certainly doesn't. I'm not there. Answer is my pick here. Moving on, if I'm looking at the paper to the right side, looking down at the bracket, the quadrant that has, in my opinion, the group of death with that Justin Thomas, Kevin Kisner, Matt Kuchar, what am I forgetting? Louis Oosthuizen group. What a killer one. I've avoided that one. In that quadrant, no surprise, I'm rocking Patrick Reed. I know there's a lot more narrative than truth in him being a match play savant, but I don't care. I'm all about Reed. I think these sorts of events are conducive to Patrick Reed. He is a Sunday, he just grinds in the moment, 10-footer to save my life. There's no one I'd rather have than Patrick Reed. So obviously I'd bet him in a match play when the number is flirting with a 30-1 at FanDuel, as low as 25, searching elsewhere. 30-1 outright ticket. Can make a case. There would be a tough road, but from an outright perspective, I really do believe in Patrick Reed to win this. A pivot in that range, because I'm excited for that Sweet 16 matchup that I project to happen, would be Patrick Cantley, an incredibly popular player at the Players a couple weeks ago. We're back on a Pete Dye track. His very slow pace of play, I think, could annoy guys. I'm expecting Cantley to put up a strong showing, and I'm expecting a Cantley Reed match when we wake up on Saturday morning in the Sweet 16. That's certainly one I am looking forward to. But Patrick Reed, he's my guy. I'm going to believe in the narrative, and there's no one else really I'd rather want. He can win every match. The pod isn't even as easy as I had hoped, but I don't know. Some of these were really hard. Let me just confirm what it is. Neiman, Bezudenhout, and Bubba. It's sneaky tough, but let's go, Patrick. All right, last quadrant, bottom right. We're laying chalk. The road is clear, in my opinion. Jonathan Rahm lost in the finals here and to Dustin Johnson a couple years ago. I believe this place and the pod of Lowry and it's Lowry, Munoz, and Palmer, his good buddy Palmer. I love the road for Jon Rahm. Maybe I'm a sucker. I hope he doesn't. I hope he's part of that 35, 37% of 1 seeds that move on, because we are pushing the chips in there on Jon Rahm. Rory is tempting also. I'm not going to lie. They have finally drifted Rory into 20-1. If you didn't want to swallow that Rahm number, I do believe this event, this format, will light a match under Rory, and he's taken on Poulter out of the gates. I could see that just totally firing up good old Rory, who maybe needs a change of pace and format to get into the winner's circle, but they have pushed that number up north of 2020. So that's attractive. That's attractive, and I'll be sad when Rory wins. Also in this range, the only range quadrant that I'm doubling up in, you could say that is strange because I've laid chalk in this range, but I'm going with Jason Day. I caught that 50 over at Bet365. It's as low as 40 when using that odds checker grid. I am totally here for Jason Day this week. Jason Day, as I talked about in my shows out of the players, he gained like 10 strokes with his approaches. His approaches have been absolute fire. The fact that Jason Day has lost his putter is pretty scary. I said that if I could have anyone in the world hit me a 10-foot putt to save my life, it'd probably be Patrick Reed. But 4 or 5 years ago, probably would have been Jason Day. He's a world-renowned putting savant. Hopefully this format, like I said on my podcast, in a perfect world, I want him to be in a really tough match early and then hit a game walk-off on the 17th. Like a clutch 25-footer that just totally takes that putting feeling for him. Like, I'm of the opinion it's the smallest little margin that will be the fix in Jason Day's putting. Let's hope it this week because his ball striking is absolutely unconscious. Xander Schauffele's the main horse in the pod that Day comes from. I'm always afraid of Schauffele. He does everything great. Scheffler, he's a Texas guy in Texas. That is scary, but I am going to go to the wall with Jason Day. If you want a snazzy super bomb, but because he also comes from this quadrant, but my boy Pat Mayo is all about Eric Van Rooyen. We're seeing 200-1s on EVR, guys. He's in a quadrant with Daniel Berger, Harris English, and Brendan Todd. We always see, sneaky internationals go on a surprise run here, be it a Beer Garden, be it a Norin. I could say Tanihara did it before. I hope I got that one right. So, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. It's such a big number. Maybe there's some hedge equity that can come from that. So those are my picks. I got a guy in each quadrant and a bonus to Jason Day. Hopefully we're still surviving as the pods get decided in the match in the round robin Wednesday. Starts on Wednesday. Should have said that off the top. German starts Wednesday. Should have said that at the beginning. I'm telling you now. But, yeah. We'll have some fun. And then Friday night, I'll be back with you guys. I'll give my look of the land, the layout, as we are in a Sweet 16. And don't forget, Saturday, double barrel golf, Sweet 16 Elite 8, Sunday, semifinal, final. So you guys got to have some endurance. It's a little scary when you bet on Jason Day in an event that requires endurance and a lot of golf, 7 rounds to be exact if you want to win. I'm Geoff Fienberg. Like, sub, comment. We're going to have so much fun with the March Madness golf style this week. I'm out.